So we are going to continue working with rectangular prisms, except now we're doing the volume. And volume means filling up our shape or our rectangular prism or box. So please make sure you're on pages 615 through 622. And when you're ready, look at the front page where the kitty cat is. So we are going to be, again, filling this up. So they're giving us an example of an aquarium. So what they want us to do is look at the base. We need to do the base, which is right here. What are the measurements of it? 3 and 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. What is the height of the aquarium? 2. Okay, so to find this, we're going to multiply our length, our width, and our height. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So pretty much we just multiplied those two together to get 12. Notice this is cubed now because we're multiplying 3 things together. So our formula, I want you to write nice and big and bold. Volume equals cursive L for length. It needs to be cursive because L looks like a letter 1 with height. And if you want, you can put the multiplication symbols in between there. But all we are going to do is multiply our length, our width, and our height. So when you're ready, turn your page. It has 2 formulas here. I want you to cross this one out. We're not using this one. We are doing length times my width times my height. Okay, so let's look at example 1. Find the volume of the rectangular prism. Cross this all off. I don't like that. We're using our other formula. So volume equals cursive L, length, width, height. My length is 12. My width is 10. My height is 6. So make sure you are all writing this down right now. Whatever I write, you write. And then I'm going to do 12 times 10 times 6, and I get 720, and it's centimeters to the 3rd power. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to move on to the got it's. So volume isn't too bad, is it, huh? Okay, so we write our formula. Volume equals length times width times height. These are all 5, so this is nice and easy. 5 times 5 times 5. And again, we can type this right in. 5 times 5 times 5 gives me 125, and it's inches to the 3rd power. And again, I'm on the got it. This was letter A. Why don't you pause the video right now and you try B on your own. When you're ready, press play. Okay, we write our formula. Volume equals length times width times height. Length, width, height. So 10 times 4 times 6. So 10 times 4 times 6 gives me 240 feet to the 3rd power. How'd you do? If you have any questions, please write them down and we can talk about them later. Now we're going to look to example 2. I think you have to turn your page. Example 2 has fractions. We are going to do this the same way, except turn our fractions into improper fractions. So let's first write our formula. Length, width, height. So we'll do our length, our width, and our height. So volume equals 8 times 3 1/4 times height, which is 12 1/2. We will do multiple problems of this. So I'm just asking you have a kind of sort of idea on how to do this. I need to turn everything to improper fractions. So I put 8 over what number? 1. Now, I'm going to keep my denominator, and if you remember, we're going to multiply, and then we add. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Denominator stays the same. We're going to multiply and then add. 2 times 12 is 24, plus 1 is 25. If you can get this far, we're real good. Now what we need to do is just multiply straight across. So 8 times 13 times 25 gives me 2,600. Whew, big number. Then we're going to multiply 1 times 4 times 2. 1 times 4 times 2. That gives me 8. Now I'm going to divide to see how many times 8 can go into 2,600. You can guess and check, but that might take a little while. So I'm going to take 2,600, divide it, because you see the division bar here, 8. Oh, perfect. Equals 325 inches cubed. If it works out perfectly, that is great. All right, when you are ready, let's turn, or I will turn, you might not need to. And we're going to try this, got it. We will do this one together. So volume equals length times width times height. They tell us 4 inches as its length, 5 inches high, and 8.5 inches wide. So 8.5 is my width, my height is 5. So everything needs to become fractions. So 4 gets put over 1. My 2 stays the same. I'm going to multiply, and then I will add. 16 plus 1 is 17. And 5 gets put over 1. Again, we're going to multiply straight across. So 4 times 17 times 5 gives me 340. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is still 2. And we will then divide 340, because you see it right here, divided by 2. And that gives me a perfect 170 inches, and it's going to be to the third power. Now, not every problem we do is going to work out perfectly, and we will do some extra practice with ones that do not work out perfectly. Okay, when you're ready, I want you to turn all the way to page 621. 621. Make sure you're on page 621. I want you to do number 15 and 16 on your own. This has decimals, but it doesn't mean it's any different or harder. You just type them right in your calculator. So when you're ready, press pause, and you're going to do these on your own. And then when you're ready, press play. Okay, let's go over these. So volume equals length, width, height. So we have 22, 13, 5. If your order is a little different than mine, that's not a problem. You still will get the same answer in the end. So 22, 13, 5 gives me 1,430 feet to the third power. And we can just go back and check it one more time to make sure we're good. 5, 22, 13. Whoops. 5, 22, 13. Perfect. Okay, same thing. Volume equals length, width, height. Every time I need to see that formula. So we have 35.5, and I'm going to use parentheses so we don't get confused with the multiplication symbols. Then I have 29.8 and 6.3. Mine's kind of off the page, but you guys get the gist, right? So now all I have to do is type this in. 35.5 times 29.8 times 6.3 equals 6,664.77 meters cubed. And again, we will highlight this so we know that's our final answer. Okay, one more question and then we are done for today. It's a cute puppy question. So find the volume of the pet carrier shown at the right. again, this is a fraction one. We're not going to do it any differently. We just need to change our fractions into improper fractions. So length we'll do 20. Width we'll say is 11 3/4. And height is 11 1/2. So make everything fractions. Now I need to keep my denominator. I'm going to multiply and then add. So 4 times 11 is 44, 45, 46, 47. 2 times 11 is 22, plus 1 is 23. Now I'm just going to multiply straight across. So 20 times 47 times 23 gives me 21,620. Then I'm going to multiply across here. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to take my 21,620, divide by 8, and I get 2,702. Now there's a decimal at the end. I need to keep things as fractions, so I'm really glad we had an example like this. I'm going to keep my denominator of the 8. Then I'm going to multiply and subtract the difference over here. So 2,702 times 8 gives me 21,616. So now I'm going to subtract the original, which is right here, from my new to see how much is left over. So 2,1620 minus 2,1,616 gives me 4. That's how much was left over, so that goes right on top. Now I also see if I can reduce. Can I reduce a 4 and an 8? Yep, I can actually divide them both by 4. So my front stays the same. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So it's 2,702 inches cubed for my final answer. And again, we'll do more of these. I would really love it if you can get as far as this, and then we can kind of work on it a little more in class. When you're all set, I want you to turn back to the Rate Yourself. I think it's back a couple pages. 618 in case you need to get back. I want you to rate yourself. How'd you feel? Yeah, you got it. You have some of it, or no clue at all. And kind of think, can you get to this part? If you can get to this part, you're a yes in my eyes. We're just going to work a little more on the other practice. If you do struggle with the fractions altogether, I would give yourself more towards the question mark. And no, if you just really had trouble with this whole lesson. So please rate yourself, and then we will answer any questions tomorrow in class that you may have. All right, that's it for today. Have a great rest of your day.